Hi, Phil.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for meeting with me.
No problem.
So, you know, we've embarked upon an amazing initiative this school year, and that is recording students' names in eSchool.
Yes.
So, you know, we decided to do that as a part of our DEI work. We were really thinking about students and how they were feeling, and some students reported that they were upset because sometimes their names are not pronounced correctly.
Absolutely.
And also some of them were given, you know, abbreviations or nicknames, and they weren't pleased.
Right.
So this initiative opens the door for everyone to learn each student's name and to say it correctly. And if they have any challenges, they can always go back and listen to the recording.
Right.
So I wanted to know your perspectives on recording students' names in eSchool.
Well, it's interesting because on a personal note, my great-grandmother came over to Ellis Island. Her last name was Lithuanian. They were Sivanovich. A person at Ellis Island could not pronounce it, spell it, whatever. So we were Wilson because her grandfather was Wilson, was William, so we're Wilson. So we were Wilson for about half a generation until we learned enough English to realize that that's not who we are. So this to me was always like, oh, this makes sense. And then one of our seniors, we come to find out that we've been pronouncing her name wrong for the year and a half that I've been here. And I'm like, why don't you tell us? She was like, you've always called me that.
Oh.
So it was interesting to kind of like, oh, well, here we are. Here's like one of the first kids that came up, and she was super excited because she was like, you've all been saying my name wrong. I'm like, well, why didn't you? And you don't want to blame the kid. But also like, all right, like you're going to go off into the real world. If you know people are saying your name incorrectly, you got to kind of correct them a little bit, or at least have the opportunity so feel empowered enough to say, no, my name is blank.
Yes.
Because usually when I ask like this. What I'm asking initially, I'm asking, is this correct? But I guess I have to be more explicit in my language, saying, hey, is this how you pronounce your name? And if it's not, feel free to correct me.
Yes.
So, like I said, it was interesting to do it, and it's also nice when I have some of the students coming in, I was able to click or call a parent and click, I'm like, I think I know, but let me just double check. Especially as the associate principal, sometimes the news that I'm bringing isn't necessarily the best news. And also adding insult to injury when I pronounce their name wrong doesn't exactly say like, okay, how can we fix this? How can we help you?
That's right.
And I'm saying their name wrong. So that was extremely helpful for us, and it was very interesting. The kids were doing it, and I was able to work with one of our teachers who was out on a long-term leave. So I was able to come in and do record with the kids the name. So I was like, all right, come on up. They're like, do I have to? We're in high school. I'm like, yeah, get over here. Come on. Come on and record your name. So they came in and they recorded the name, and it was great. And sometimes they were like, I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I know you can scream in the hallway a lot louder than that. They're like, fine, Phil Campbell. I'm like, there we go, we got it. And it was interesting to see how they were very like, oh, okay. They're like, well, who gets this? I'm like, everybody. You know, from as long as you're with us, your name is going to be there. So speak loud, speak proud, speak softly, and you know, make sure next year when the teacher comes in, they, you know, because it's always entertaining as a first-year teacher, you get your name list, you're like, okay. Like, and the kids also knew it too, because they would pause. And one of my friends growing up was from a Sri Lankan family, and the last name was Amar Singha, and the first name was Chanaka. And we were a large Jewish population on Long Island. I can't tell how many times he was Hanukkah, Amar, and he's like Chanaka. We would all pause, and he'd be like, Chanaka, Amar Singha, and try to get through all of that. So it was always kind of one of those things where like, how did that get Chanaka right? Or Amar Singha, like it's how you pronounce it. But as a teacher, when you get the list, you're like, ooh,
yes.
Now it's pressure.
Yes.
Like at least you can kind of at least hear it a few times before you get your class list and kind of before the kids show up. So like also, you know, it helps build a better community when a kid comes in is like, oh, hey, Phil Campbell, as opposed to Hilla Kambali. You're like, oh, yeah, here.
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
it's just easier. There's like, I'm not going to correct the teacher, or it's been getting it wrong since kindergarten, so I'm just going to, thanks.
Yeah.
But like I said, but it's great. The kids were really excited about it. We had a good chunk, and we're going to grab a few more over the summer. We were able to get a few today who are coming in, but they're like, oh, I don't want to do it. But they were really excited to come in. It should be exciting for them.
Thank you so much. It's great to hear this
You're welcome.
feedback.
No problem.
It's very important to our school community to know just how important this initiative
Absolutely.
is. And I think that there will be lots of positive connections in the fall when students come into the classrooms and teachers pronounce their names correctly.
Right.
It'll make them all feel good.
I hope so. I really do.
Thank you
And
for your time.
thank you for doing that, because it's one of those initiatives where we're like, well, why haven't we done that? It was one of those, like, as we were doing it, we're like, oh, yeah, like, why didn't we? So thank you for bringing that with you, and thank you for taking the time and tackling that, because that's not an easy task.
Thank you
So
so
thank you very
much.
much for bringing that on and bringing it to us.
I appreciate the collaboration.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.